The day I turned 12, my father brought a woman home. That was the first time I met Julia. She was immaculately kept, clinging to my father's side like a delicate vine. The girl standing next to her, my age, peeked at me shyly. She called me sister. I just stared, saying nothing. The silence in the room grew heavy, suffocating. That's when Julia's face lit up with a practiced, dazzling smile. You must be Sophie. You're every bit as charming as Richard described. Just like that, the tension evaporated. My father shot her a grateful look. 2 weeks after the anniversary of my mother's death, Julia, all of 32 years old, moved into our house with her 12-year-old daughter, Rosie. I was terrified. Dad, I asked him, my voice small, will you still love me? He smiled. A sad sort of smile. Of course. Sweetheart, will you forget Mom? I pressed, my heart hammering against my ribs. He was quiet for a long time before letting out a heavy sigh. How could I ever forget her? But Sophie, I truly care for Julia. Can you try to understand that? For me and Rosie, just think of her as another plate at the dinner table. I promise you, Sophie, no one will ever be more important to me than you are. I didn't answer. I just squeezed his hand, clinging to the promise in his words. But a year after they married, things began to change. He started treating Rosie like his own. He'd take her shopping for new clothes, new shoes, and never missed a birthday surprise. He'd tell anyone who would listen that he'd been blessed with another wonderful daughter. Eventually, his sincere affection was returned in kind. The day Rosie finally called him Dad. He was so overjoyed he ate a second helping of dinner. Afterward, he looked at me, his eyes full of encouragement, of expectation. I avoided his gaze, just as I avoided the chopsticks. Julia offered me. Thank you, Julia, I said politely, but I prefer to eat with a fork. Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second. She recovered quickly, forcing a laugh, and used her chopsticks to place a shrimp on my rice. I took the communal serving fork and scraped the shrimp off my plate, along with every grain of rice it had touched, and dumped it on the side. Julia looked at my father, her eyes welling up with hurt. He slammed his chopsticks on the table, his face turning cold. Sophie, where are your manners? Is this how you were raised? An adult offers you something, you accept it. The meal ended in a storm of angry silence. Later, he told me he hadn't meant to yell at me at the table, but he blamed me for embarrassing Julia. Julia's good to you, isn't she? Rosie calls me Dad, but you still call her Julia. Have you ever thought about how that makes her feel? No, I haven't, I said, my voice flat. All I know is that I can accept you remarrying, but I can't accept calling someone else Mom. And another thing, I added, my voice trembling slightly, like my mother, I am allergic to shrimp. He froze. He didn't say another word. She didn't know, he mumbled, before turning and walking away, looking utterly defeated. My father always hoped I would one day truly accept Julia as my stepmother, but I kept her at a cool, polite distance. Our patchwork family stumbled along for 3 years, and then came the 7th anniversary of my mother's death. Before he remarried, my father and I would spend the entire day at the cemetery together, but things were different now. The first year, under Julia's understanding gaze, he came with me. The second year, Julia had a scheduling conflict and asked him to attend Rosie's parent-teacher conference in her place. He agonized over it for days, but ultimately came with me to the cemetery. But after burning a few sticks of incense, he rushed off. I just can't miss it for Rosie, honey. I've been thinking about it, and it wouldn't be right. I was 14, standing in the biting wind, watching his back as he walked away. My eyes burned with tears. Will there even be a next year? I had wondered. Now, I had my answer. He didn't show up. I waited from sunrise to sunset. Finally, as the last light faded, I spoke to the photograph on the headstone. Mom, I said, my voice eerily calm. From now on, it'll just be me visiting you? Is that okay? Her picture smiled back at me, unchanging. I sighed and started the long walk home. A week later, at breakfast, Julia